Welcome to Brobench. In this video, we're going to take a look at and see how to configure the backup process in Brobench. Brobench has been adding a lot of capabilities and the features, and each of those features and the capabilities have some configuration data in them. For example, when you go to this query, there's a query editor, and this is saved as part of the Chrome extension storage for this particular app. And similarly, for example, when you go to the records and configure, the field groups and whatever, so that is all the bits of configuration that need to be saved, and so that we can reuse it next time you launch it. All of that configuration is stored, in the backend called local storage in the extension, which you can actually export all of the data in a JSON format. So if you want to keep a copy anytime that you want to. So in this version, we are making it easy to take a backup of that particular data without you having to export the JSON and compress it and keep it. So to access the backup, you can go to the Brobench, that is the app menu, click on settings and go to the backup tab. So when you go here, so here it allows you to see where if you have the directory where you're going to be take a backup and when was the last backup file, and as well as some configuration for auto backup. This particular feature uses a feature called workspace directory. Make sure that if that is not set, make sure that you go set that particular directory. So workspace directory is a directory that you give access to one folder within your local system to the Brobench app. So the app can write into that particular folder without prompting you to each time to select a particular file. So it is required to enable the backup or take a backup. Okay, so if it is not done, so make sure that you go enable that workspace directory. If you want to know how to use that, so go check out the video guide on how to use the workspace directory. So when you come to this backup, so the backup directory is automatically shown. So this is considering that this is your workspace directory, the backup will be the data and the backup subpath after that. So this is hard coded to be this particular path under whatever the folder that you choose. Okay. So if you want to take a backup, so just go and click on take a backup now. Okay, so what it does is it'll take a backup and then it will write into that particular file. So if you go and click here, it's going to take a little bit of file depending on how much data you have, and then you can see that it has created this backup file. So if you go to the file explorer, so you can see that it has created this particular file in this particular format. So you can see under there's a workspace that has chosen, under that the data, the backup, you have a whole bunch of backup files that there are. Okay, so every time you click on the take a backup, it puts the particular timestamp in a ISO basic format. So this is the date, T, and then the timestamp and the Z at the end. So it writes the file into that. If you are essential and above edition, you can also configure auto backup. So when you enable the auto backup, it provides you few options and say, backup interval. You want to backup daily or every 8 hours or 4 hours. And depending on that configuration, it will back up. So in this particular instance, I had configured 4 hours during the testing, and you can see that it has actually, taken the backup on various times. Okay, so 9 o'clock and sometimes the 3 and then the evening and all that. So there is no fixed interval, but approximately every 4 hours it will take. So keep in mind for auto backup, the application has to be running. So it doesn't back up if you have, let's say, close the tab, or if you haven't opened the Brobench window within the Salesforce UI page and all that. So it is not going to be taking a backup only when it is running, and it will take a backup. So let's say if you take a backup in the morning, 10 o'clock, so 4 hours would be around that you need to take another backup. Let's say then you close the application at 1 o'clock, then you open the application at 3, then the 4 hours would have expired. So it will take a backup at that particular time, when you open that. So keep that in mind. The auto backup happens when the application is running, not otherwise. However, anytime you can take a backup, you can click on here, and that doesn't impact the interval of the backup. Okay, so that is so once you have the backup, if you want to import that, you can go here and then you can unzip that. For example, if you go and open it, so it will create a JSON file right like this, and then you can take the JSON file and go here and you can import it. So just drag and drop the JSON file here, and then you'll be able to import that particular file. Okay, in the next version, we will add a mechanism for you to select the file instead of you copy and pasting, so that it will be easy. So that then after that you can select the file and then click on import, and then that will import the data. Okay, so keep in mind when you import it, all the current configuration will be overwritten with the one that you backed up, one that you're trying to import. So if you have any configuration that you know that you have made since the backup, make sure that you take the latest backup so that you will have a copy for if you want to revert back. Okay. So this is about the backup feature in Brobench, which is introduced in version 4.8, and I hope it saves your configuration and then saves some of the data. Thank you.